Hello. Hello. How's it going? Good morning. Good morning, Ottawa. Bonjour, Ottawa. Um, Almost finished my coffee. Got an early start in the day. So I just got that cold bottom layer left in my Adventure is Out There mug. Cold coffee can be good. I like this. This is good. I find though, why is it that? Because if this was cold and it was sitting out all day and I took a sip of it, it would feel gross. But it's still somewhat fresh and cold. So my body is responding to it positively still. Coffee science. Can't explain that. The universe is magic. It cannot be explained. It can only be experienced and enjoyed. And I'm enjoying it. And I hope you're enjoying it too on this April Monday morning. Hope wherever you are, although right now I know exactly where all my viewers are, and I know they're experiencing similar weather patterns to me. That is still a little bit on the cold side, a little bit on the gray side, a bit on the rainy side. Spring hasn't fully sprung here in Canada. But there's word that warm weather is on the way, and I'm personally looking forward to it. I want to go outside in a t-shirt, or at least, you know what? I'll settle for going outside in just a hoodie, no jacket. That's what I want. But we are getting. I do prefer. Okay, I'm gonna do a hot take, or maybe it's a cold take. Not sure. But the temperature of this, how it relates to takes. I prefer rain over snow. Is that controversial? It was raining last night, and I was like, oh, yeah, I love a rainy night. And I miss that during the winter more than anything, I think. Snow is beautiful. It's nice. You know what? Snow wins on visual presentation overall. Just rain can be beautiful too. Rain has some good moves, but snow falling, snow falling through a street light, can't beat that. But the sound of rain, that's a top 3 sound. Alex says, I'm okay with the nice weather waiting until after the show and tell deadline to come back. Yeah, maybe the weather is seeing the big picture here. We will talk a bit about the show and tell near the end of the stream, but that is part of the nice thing about having all the work leading up to a mid-April deadline is it kind of lines up well with the rhythms of hibernation of both bears and animators. What about them together? Mix them and weep, rain and snow. I think that's a great example of 2 great flavors tasting terrible together, right? No one likes rain and snow. That complicates everything. No one likes this because no one likes slush and no one likes freezing rain. It's like keep them separated. At least have the nice fluffy white snow, or just solid, nice, even slightly cold or warm rain. All right, let's work towards that. Keeping those things in their own lanes. Rain, stay in your lane. All right, and with that, let's jump into today's presentation. Sorry, Pat. I don't want them together. Nobody wants to see them together. So we got today's slideshow to give you a little sneak preview of what you'll be seeing in 2 seconds anyway, is something that I've been working on behind the scenes and going to be sort of launching this week. I also made a post about it on my Patreon, so if you're not following me on there, be sure to check that out. It's patreon.com/spendmore. Very, very easy. So I made a post about this today as well, but I'll be talking about it in the slideshow. So let me bring that up. Sorry, I got a little froggy in my throat. Is it gone? Sort of. Not really. All right, we're going to work with it. Slideshow time. All right, welcome to the First Thing in the Morning live stream. Schrodinger's Bro Down. So upcoming streams. We're going to have one on Thursday, this Thursday. This one's going to be really fun. Hoping to have it very well attended. Been hyping it up and spreading the news because it's going to be taking place the day before the Animation Show and Tell Ottawa submission deadline. So whether you're burning the midnight oil, getting your submission done, whether you're leaning back after a job well done and a submission well submitted, or if you're just looking forward to attending, be sure to tune into this stream. I'll be talking a bit about the history of show and tell, what we're looking forward to this year, including I will be premiering, or I guess debuting, or revealing the artist for this year's poster and signal film. Some of you may already know who that is, but the official reveal and poster reveal will be happening on that stream, in addition to an announcement of when tickets are going on sale, and maybe even might do a little sneak peek of the signal film itself. Don't want to give it all away, but it might give a little taste, depending on if people want to see that or not. People might. I'll make a poll. I haven't tried making a poll yet on YouTube, so I might do that and see if people want to get a little nibble on the signal film before seeing it on the big screen on May 7th. So that'll be happening on Thursday, regular time there, for the later in the day work stream, which will be from 6 to 9. Oh, well, yeah, and of course, as always, I'll be having guests call in. I'm trying to get as many Asanto alumnus to show up on the stream as possible. So all of our guests hopefully will be people who have participated in previous shows and tells. But we'll see. We might just have some people on who have attended before and talking about their favorite Asanto memories. And then 2 weeks following that, we'll just be doing the First Thing in the Morning live stream. And then there's going to be a little break in the streams as I sort of assess kind of how I want to go forward with this stuff. Kind of along the lines of what I'll be talking about today. The streams, the Patreon, all the stuff I'm doing right now, I'm doing in the spirit of experimentation, feeling things out. So I've been doing the streams for about 6 or 7 months, I guess. I started in November. So wanted to take a second to sort of pause and see how things are going and figure out kind of what the next step is, what's been working, lean into what's been working, and kind of make adjustments for what I feel is missing. So I'll be thinking on that and probably talking a bit about it on that May 4th stream before taking a couple weeks off. That's also around the show and tell, so want a bit of recovery time after that. So after a big event, it's a lot to pull off. And usually I find these days doing big events, there's always almost like a week-long recovery period now. Like I found that even after OCAF. I'm all charged up on the day, but I noticed very sleepy, very nappy over the next few days. So I'll also be wrapping up my teaching around this time. So it's a lot of things sort of converging. So take a nice little time to pause and reflect after that. All right, disclaimer on everything I say. I'm just some guy. If you learn something, cool. I'm not claiming to have the answers. I'm going to tell you what I'm interested in and what I've been trying. It might not work for you. I don't even know if it works for me. So that's true today. So I'll be talking about my Instagram reboot. So this is kind of building off something I talked about on stream about a month ago, I think, about the ideas of living online as an artist, how to present your work in a way that feels thoughtful when a lot of the ways the platforms tend to put images, content, I hate this word, but this is the word, like put, basically, it's kind of the perfect word though, because it flattens everything, every signal that gets put into it, into just the bucket of content. And when you are putting thought into creating your work, you want to put thought into how it's presented. And I spent a lot of time last year thinking about that very intentionally. And I don't know, honestly, at times wondering if I even wanted to participate in it at all. But where I sort of landed in the last presentation talking about it was how I wanted to use social media as part of my presence online and sort of where I'm at with that now. So that leads to, this was sort of the tail end of that presentation, where I talked about the Instagram compromise. So I go a bit more into my thinking behind this in my most recent Patreon post. But basically, it's a refresh of how I want to use Instagram. So for a while, I was off Instagram last year for about half the year, just because I wanted to be able to think clearly about what I wanted from it, what I needed from it. I ended up getting back on it because I wanted to reach out to certain artists, and that was the only way I had to contact with them. But in the back of my mind, I knew I wanted to attempt finding a way to use Instagram that felt good for me. So what I'm trying right now is I'm going to turn my Insta page, my profile, into basically just a 3x3 grid. That's always advertising the different things I do. Oh my God, I knew someone was going to mention Reboot in the chat. Yes, oh my God, I do love Reboot. The disclaimer makes good lyrics for a chorus. I should sing. I'm going to sing it next time. That's a good idea, Pat. So yes, the Instagram profile will be a 3x3 grid, advertising my Patreon, live stream, podcast, show and tell, the different thing, a picture of me and a rotating carousel of drawings and animation, sort of as a link tree that's like, just at a glance, you can look at it and go, oh, that's all the things Spencer does. And oh, there he is. His picture's in the middle. Basically, the experience I'm trying to get is like, this is for people who might meet me somewhere and look me up, hear my name and want like, oh, do you know Spencer? Oh, Spencer, who's that? And when they look for me on Instagram, the first thing they see is 9 images that go boom, 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 and like cohesively. And I think that's a big part of it. I'm trying to make it seem very intentional. It's not like these are my 9 last posts. I'm like, no, I thought I'm only going to ever have 9 posts and this is them. And I want it to sort of feel almost like a little bit like that art versus artist kind of template where they have the picture of the person in the middle and then around them is all the drawings they've done. Sort of that idea. So that if people see it and go, oh, he arranged these, he's pinned them to his profile in a certain order. Almost to convey like, this isn't a feed. I don't post on Instagram in a sort of like everyday update kind of way. It's sort of like a portfolio page or something. So basically it's an ad, which is what Instagram is best used for. So at the end of the day, I'm just sort of leaning into what's annoying about it, which is that it's cluttered with advertisements. So I'm like, well, instead of trying to make my art compete with the ads or live alongside it somehow, I'll just make anything I post on there an ad for something else I'm doing. So I'm going to go through I started doing this weekend. So step one, of course, is to purge the feed of what's on there now. So I didn't want to actually delete all my posts. Luckily, Instagram lets you archive posts so that everything, the date you posted it, the comments, the image and all that stuff, doesn't have to be deleted. It just makes it invisible. So I want to keep all that. I'm very sentimental and didn't want to lose all those posts, because it's like, at this point, look back on it and it's like, geez, like 12 years of my life, I guess, now is on in that feed. So wanted to hold on to that. I was a little like dreading doing this because I thought it would take forever to archive all my posts. I had like almost 700 posts, I think, on there. Turns out if you go through your activity, you can go to the posts and then you can archive them in batches of 100. So you can click, and then archive. So that made it take whatever 15 minutes rather than what I thought was going to be this thing I'd have to chip away at. So if you're looking to do this, this is the quick and easy way. And then that leaves me with this blank canvas. So now I have 0 posts and ready for some new ones. There we go. Next. The next step was to download my data. So you can do this on Instagram and Facebook. You can get a export of literally all your data from the app. If you go to the account center, you can do it there. And go to your information and permissions. I think it's under that heading. You can also dial in all the parameters for the export. So I chose to only download the images since that was all I cared about. I'll get to why I was also downloading them after archiving them in a sec. But yeah, I'll be using those to make some new posts. All right. So as for the images themselves, I was making some new ones and using some old images to make some new stuff. But this is the first one I made, which will be sort of up in the upper left-hand corner, pinned to it as sort of the first thing you see. Basically, the point of this is just a quick, in the image is the link. I'm on Patreon now. That's the link to my Patreon. And in the description, I'll make it clear that if you want to see my art as it's new and as I'm working on it, that's the place to go. The next image I created, which will, I think, be in the upper right corner, is the schedule for the live streams. That way, it's not, as it stands, the way I've been doing is just by posting my stories. Oh, I'm going to be streaming tomorrow. Oh, make sure I'm going to be streaming soon. So this will just be a way that'll be updated with at least the next 1 or 2 streams. And I'll just basically delete and repost this every couple of weeks with the new dates. And of course, I'm covering it up here, but there's oops. I didn't mean to do that. There's a link there at the bottom, which is the URL spendmore.com. All right. And then other images here. Actually, there you go, just so you can see it all right now. The other images that I'll be posting on there will be the other projects I do, like the Most Fun podcast and animation show and tell. and I'll update those whenever there's a reason to, a new season of the podcast, or the dates or something for the show and tell. I also decided to make all these images use my black and yellow color scheme that I've been using for years now on stuff. I like how it looks separately. I'm going to see how it all looks together. We'll see. I might end up just not making the other stuff I do, like the podcast, like the show and tell, necessarily fit that same color scheme. But again, I'm going for a sort of a cohesive look, that it all kind of hangs together well. So we'll see if that feels like the right way to go, or if I want to go for a more eclectic feel. So I'll put it all up, see how it all hangs together, and then go from there. And then, so other than those, so I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, and a picture of myself. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll have 4 other images at any one time, and I'm thinking of probably I think the best way to do this, how I'm thinking about doing it, is to have images that are like mini galleries of different things I do, little image carousels. Basically, like if you on a portfolio site, you have different headings for different things, different pages. So the first round of these that I'll be putting up will just be some of my favorites from that Instagram download. So I'll have one about all the little cardboard stuff I did, one with all the video game drawings, fan art I did, one that's just some of my favorite digital illustrations. And I'll update these when there's a reason to, or when I feel like it, sort of like updating my demo reel or portfolio. And so that's 5, 6, 7, 8. Last one will be a little preview for, I guess, my latest short. It's been a while since I made this, but let me see. I'm going to need some stuff in the chat. Before I jump into this, let me recap the chat. Just a portfolio. Yeah. Instead of a constant. Yeah, no, that's a good idea. Is archive just not shared but still there on Instagram? Yeah, so archive posts they're basically invisible. So if they're in your archive, and as soon as you you can go into the archive and take it out of the archive, and it just goes back into your feed like nothing ever happened. Posting your art on Patreon is much better move. I like that. Yeah, I like Patreon as a platform. Just, if I'm putting my art, my thoughts about my art on there, it's not cluttered up with a bunch of other things. You're going there because you want to see what I'm doing, which I always like. I don't know. I like the internet provides that, and it's kind of drifted away to that, into this sort of get it all in one place. It all kind of comes through one tube, but I don't know. Honestly, with the art I'd like to go to a place where someone has controlled the set and setting for it. I've been really struggling just with the idea of sharing art on Instagram, just on a personal level. I hadn't considered Patreon, but I like it. Yeah, that's definitely what led me to Patreon. Black plus 2 tones of yellow for a little more variety. That's a good idea, actually. Yeah, that's what I might do. I'd always just done it so simply, like it was like a monochromatic computer screen or something, but it's a good idea to throw in another yellow. All right, so yeah, the last post will be, because I want to put an animation thing in there to let people know I do animation. So yeah, I guess this is my latest short. I made this last year. I put it out at this time last year for show and tell, and up until I guess later this week, that's the only place it's ever played. It's called I Just Wrote a Book, and the reason for the delay is because, like I was talking about, I was feeling conflicted about posting art online, still figuring out how I wanted to approach that. And then I kind of forgot that I never really shared it, because the first thing I did was like, oh, I submitted it, I think, to one. I think I submitted it to Ottawa, the Ottawa Animation Festival. And that was the only place I submitted it to. I'm pretty sure. I don't think I submitted anywhere else. And then I kind of just forgot. I never showed it to anyone outside that one screening. But now that I am trying this refreshed approach to my online presence, it is time to release it. So that will be coming out. The plan is to release it this Thursday, as sort of the Asanto hype stream festivities, as part of celebrating this year's Asanto. I can finally put out what I made for last year's. And look at that! The light in the back of my basement came on. That's a fun little running gag now at this point. It's like this light bulb isn't dead; it's just getting very old and takes a while for it to wake up. But 8:30, it's a good wake up time, so we're doing all right. Anyway, so you can look forward to seeing that along with the whole whatever updated Instagram presence. We'll see how that all looks together later this week, and I hope that you will also all join for the stream, which will also involve a draw pile. And speaking of which, let's start one right now. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting a bunch of people in on a big animation show and tell draw pile. If it kind of turns out and a lot of people do join, it might be a fun thing to put on the screen on the day, because I'm going to incorporate some art from the poster and all that. I guess I'm realizing now I've already publicly revealed who's doing the poster, because she also did the sort of promo art stuff. But anyway, if you haven't put the pieces together, I'll keep it a surprise. But I'm realizing now most likely everybody does know. All right, so that's the slide show for today. I will start the session in just a sec for the draw pile. All right, got the link here. I will post that in the chat. Okay, yeah. Cat's out of the bag. It's Kayla. Kayla Maroc is doing the poster, and she's revealed herself in the chat. So there's no point in being coy about it. Yeah, she just put the finishing touches on the Signal film this weekend. So I've seen it, and I'm not going to reveal too much, but it is incredible. I will tell you that much. But if you've seen Kayla's art before, you probably could have guessed that too. All right, the session is up and running. We got Art Frog first in the pool. And let me just bring that up. There we go. So if you are new here, the instructions are pretty simple to join the draw pile. They're on screen right above my little video, my little window there. And the link to join the session is in the chat. I should There you go. Now it's pinned to the chat. And yeah. Now I gotta think about what am I gonna draw. I did just see the Mario Galaxy movie, so maybe I'll do some Marios. Always a classic. I used to draw Mario a lot more than I do these days. It was just like a sort of, if I didn't know what else to draw, mindless thing. Because you can kind of draw Mario in so many different ways. And actually enjoyed myself at the Mario Galaxy movie. This is going to sound like a backhanded compliment, maybe it is, but I thought the fact that they didn't really focus on story stuff that much kind of played to the movie's strengths, which is really just let's watch a bunch of fun Mario stuff happening. I found like the first movie was at its the stuff that I walked away enjoying the most about it was just when he was running around and jumping, it really felt like they communicated the fun of what is fun about the Mario games in a movie form. And I thought that was the movie at its most successful was doing that, and the stuff that I felt dragged on my enjoyment of it was the sort of vague attempts at giving it a story that felt sort of like unclear or frustrated, or like if there wasn't a concept of what the story of this movie was, it was sort of choked out by trying to include all the fun little moments. And either I adjusted my expectations, or in this movie they just sort of leaned into that, and there really wasn't really a story to this movie. There was plot and there were little hints of what could have been the story, but none of it gets fleshed out to the point where you're expecting anything more than just fun sequences. And yeah, there were a few moments that I, as a Mario fan, and I am a big Mario fan, I love the games. There were moments that I just thought were fun little cartoony moments, and some really great visuals, some great animation. Yeah, so I just felt I really zeroed in on that stuff this time around, and I think the movie was sort of structured in a way that kind of leaned into that stuff. Because I think in the first one, so I think one of my things I liked most about this one is that they barely focused at all. Like there was maybe 2 short scenes that had anything to do with Mario's life in Brooklyn. They just basically kept them in the fantasy world the whole time, which was good because I felt the stuff that the sort of wraparound element of them being from Brooklyn and whatever was going on there just didn't really factor into the rest of the story at all, but you feel like it should, so it's kind of like feels sort of disconnected. So in this movie they just were like, yeah, they're from Brooklyn, but they're here now, and that's what we're gonna focus on. guess I should pipe in some music. It's a little quiet. I felt like the music was a little too quiet last time. I guess I'll turn up here.
6.
Let me know if that's too loud, too overwhelming. Yeah, Brooklyn. Yeah, I have no problem with Brooklyn as a place. It's a fun place to be in real life. But yeah, whatever. The sort of conflicts they set up with their life in Brooklyn don't really have any relevance to the story. And then, of course, the response is that go, well, it's the Mario movie. Are you expecting some deep, complicated story? And my answer is no. Actually, I'm expecting just a bunch of Mario jumping around stuff. So, if anything, just don't even do any kind of story stuff at all. Or at least like the stuff. I mean, it's mostly the stuff with their older family members. Like, it's like they're disappointed in them because they're starting their own plumbing company, which doesn't really make sense. Like they're treating it like it's some sort of crazy dream, which doesn't make sense. As like, you live in a big city. People need plumbers. It's not like some crazy I'm going to theater school thing. And then none of it matters once they get to the Mushroom Kingdom. So this one was just like, they're gonna go to the place and do the thing and solve the problems that have emerged from the last sequence. They had a lot of cool moments in this movie where they really did the side-scroller effect, where they would like pull out from the action and show it as a side-scroller. And I mean, come on, I love that stuff. Love that. That's always really fun when they do that. They could do that way more, and I would still love it. Oh yeah, we got the Senators clinching the playoffs. We're getting playoff hockey in Ottawa. Very exciting. I'm very Fish. I know that you were sort of thinking / hoping, wanting. I don't know which ones of those are true. And you talked about it being down to the last game as to whether they would clinch it or not, and I'm very glad that's not the case, because I would have been like, the worst version of this would be that it's down to a game against the Leafs to clinch the playoff spot, and they drag us to hell with them. I don't think we'd ever outlive that. So, I personally am glad that it's already tucked away. And it was nice to watch the game last night without that hanging over it. Oh, the music is too loud, eh? Yeah. There you go. The one Mario story thing I don't get, I think they quite nailed right, is through when he go in the pipe. Yeah, see, I think, like, honestly, they should have gone through the pipe in the first 10 minutes. If not the first 5 seconds. You got to remember the first Mario came out when every children's film was required to have an overriding theme of internet generational trauma. That is a great point. And I think, like, that is definitely a current trend, but that's also very much a staple of animated movies, is like the thing I want my parents don't understand, and it's about like their parents coming to term with their children being an individual who has their own thoughts, and those two things meeting in the middle. And I think, that's very much an outcome of people who tell stories in animation are people who likely had to have that moment with their own parents where they were like, no, I want to be an animator, and their parents didn't believe in them, and their dad thought it was a stupid career choice. So they're most likely to reach for that as the kind of conflict when they're writing a story. And of course, these movies are for kids, so the conflict and resolution that's going to resonate with them is most likely to be with their parents. So it, makes sense in that level. I much preferred the weekend clinch. Yeah, so did I. This is that Surf Dracula thing. Yeah, that's right. The idea that stories used to be, if there was a movie called Surf Dracula, or a show called Surf Dracula, that guy would be surfing in every episode. Whereas nowadays, it's like an 8-episode miniseries telling you the story of how he got the surfboard, or something like that. Look, this will surprise basically no one, but I had, back in 2010 or something, written my own version of the Mario movie for my own amusement. And I was ignoring the sort of cartoon version of Mario and doing it more recent video games, where it just feels like Mario has always just been there. He just like lives there, and he doesn't really have an origin outside the Mushroom Kingdom. He's just like, I don't know, he's the plumber of the Mushroom Kingdom, and it doesn't need more explanation than that. He just is part of that world. So, not only was it not an origin story, the one I wrote. When I say wrote, I wrote an outline of it. I didn't write the entire script line for line. But it was just, he lives there. The opening scenes just established that he's being a plumber in this world is like being a knight. It's like an important position, and that's, Mario is just the most popular, is a hero of this world, and there's no reason to explain it any more than that. He's just from there. Don't think about it too hard. Why he isn't also a mushroom person. It's just like when every action film was made by very divorced guys. Surf Dracula is a PhD level concept. It is such a good distillation of that approach to storytelling and TV shows. And I think streaming has made that possible, if not popular, because it used to be that every episode needs to be able to grab a new audience member. You need to be able to just sort of watch an episode in any order and get what the show's about and start becoming a regular viewer. Whereas now in all likelihood, if someone's watching your show, they're starting from episode 1. So it lets you tell those longer stories. And I guess, I mean, to a certain extent, that it's got to reflect what people want. And I think that's true to a large extent. Especially because like people want a show that you can talk about. And a show with an overarching story that like carries over from episode to episode has just more to talk about week to week. Because it's kind of based on the what's gonna happen next, and it gives people they can theorize about where the show is going and stuff. Just prompts more discussion, theories and predictions. Like, when's he gonna get that surfboard, you know? Instead of just being like, I wonder where he's gonna surf next week. So, I don't know. I think my personal preference is something sort of that rides the line, both in what I'd like to watch and what I'd like to write myself. Like one of my favorite shows of all time is Mad Men, which does have a story that, you know, the status quo changes and characters, you know, have evolving storylines. But to a large extent, you can kind of jump in on any episode and kind of clock. You don't have to know everything to understand what's happening. You're not going to be lost like you would with Lost, ironically. Yeah, I guess Lost was like, wasn't really a show to sort of do that. But yeah, even if it is a show with an ongoing storyline, I feel like the structure and like nutritional content and sort of, I want to be satisfied by an episode, but that also fits into a larger picture rather than each one just sort of being empty calories that makes you hungry for the next episode, which I think if I were to criticize that format, that's sort of the trap a lot of it falls into, is like, oh, like that might not have been a good episode, but you're on the hook now to see how Surf Dracula gets his surfboard, that you'll watch the next 5 even if you didn't like the first 3, just because you need the resolution now. Origin stories can be the most boring stories until some people ask who this dude is and where they came from. Answering a question no one wanted to ask is story poison. Yeah, it's a good point. Surf Dracula Expanded Universe in 6 parts. Yeah. I mean, at this point, someone's got to make a Surf Dracula thing. I mean, at this point. going to steal your Yoshi colors. Oh, that's not even white. Bah. I might steal your lighter red. Yeah. I feel like if The Mandalorian had continued being a Adventure of the Week thing, it would have gone down as the greatest thing ever. Yeah, I think it got way too bogged down in lore stuff. I think they had enough with, I gotta get this little guy back to his home planet, sort of, as the overriding story, and then that just takes them to new places every week. And maybe they could occasionally do a two-parter, but it became a little too expanded universe kind of. It's that classic thing of they let it be its own thing in the first season because it hadn't really proven that it was going to be as successful. But then once they knew how much of a hit it was, they wanted to tie it into the other parts of the brand and make it promote the other shows and movies. So kind of hamstrung it. They didn't let it be its own thing anymore. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Mando got bogged down by its own success. It had to keep going because the other Star Wars things were not hitting as well. Yeah, totally. Yes. Every episode. We see that guy surfing every episode. Well, fun thing I did this weekend. There's a really cool maker space at the Centerpoint Library in Ottawa. And they have all these cool machines, 3D printers, laser cutters and stuff. And yeah, they're free to use. You gotta do a little, I don't like this. You gotta do a little, what do you call them? Training course, I guess, to learn how to use the machines. But then once you do that, you can just bring your own materials or pay them for the materials, and then you get use of the machines for free. You can make a lot of cool stuff there. I was talking to a guy who's doing some laser cutting on wood to make guides for so that he could, for the curvature of like wooden bowls, to make sure they were that it was like perfectly round inside. There's a specific name for that kind of woodworking. I forget what it's called though. Let me see. It's gonna bug me now. Wood turning. Wood turning is what he called it. Whoops. Ah. I'm not surprised Dennis knew what it was called. Yes. Oh, your sister does that. Okay, cool. Yeah, so he had these sort of guides that were, whenever he drew them digitally, but then printed them out as these wood pieces that had like little, both a concave and a convex circle. And he was explaining to me what that was for. So it's kind of neat. But yeah, I'd like to go there and 3D print some stuff sometime, or do some laser cutting. I was wondering if it could cut paper, or if the laser was like too intense for paper. But apparently you can score what do you call it? Cardstock, and they just use the light setting that is normally used for like rastering, I guess is the term for the wood. So basically, whatever would like, it was enough force for the laser to print images on wood is enough to cut straight through the cardstock. So because I wanted to experiment with making stencils with cardstock. Do little stencils of my robot characters and sell those at markets and stuff as a sort of alternative to stickers. And as long as I bring my own materials there, I can do it there for free. Might be a bit too specific, but I could see Surf Dracula as an art show theme. I mean, we could do that. Maybe not for the art show, but for an art show, I'd participate. Feeling kind of rusty this morning. It's weird because I've been drawing a lot lately, but oh hell yeah. So for the longest time, whenever I draw someone surfing, I was like drawing them surf, like it just demonstrated how I don't understand what surfing is. So I would always draw like the wave, and then they'd be like riding the top of the wave. Which is either me not understanding surfing or creating a whole new kind of surfing. There we go. Did a surf Dracula. Give him a little cape too, so his Dracula-ness is clear. No, the art show. All right, I'm down. You talked me into it. He's surfing a wave of blood. Dennis, you should find a way to incorporate your Surf Dracula into your comic somehow. Just have him going by in the background at the very least. Surf Dracula could also be an excellent ad mascot for a sunscreen brand. Oh, good call. Agreed. Oh yeah, another thing I did this weekend was I went to the Mayfair to be a guest on their podcast. So I'm not sure when they'll release that. Sometime this week, I'm guessing. I was brought on there to sort of talk about the show and tell, but we really just talked about the animation and movies in general. but it's fun. I've been on their podcast before. It's a good time chatting with those guys, Eric and Josh. So the last one they posted 3 days ago. So yeah, I guess they come out on Friday. So it should come out, I guess the day of the submission deadline. So that'll be well timed, if that's the case. Surf Dracula has existed for 30 minutes and it's already trying to sell me sunscreen. Yep. Always trying to sell you something. It's just life under capitalism, baby. Did you talk about what is your favorite animation movie, or can you reveal it here without spoiling anything? I don't think I've ever said what my favorite animated movie is on the stream. I don't know if I have a clear favorite. I guess, the only animated movie on my Letterboxd top 4 is WALL-E. So I guess that would be my favorite. I haven't watched it in a long time. And when I think of favorite animated movie these days, I don't know, my mind goes to more like jankier stuff, and like definitely hand drawn or stop motion. I did watch after Dennis and I did the OCAF prep stream. We watched what I believe is Dennis's favorite movie, which is Son of the White Mare, and I had never seen it before, and that was absolutely incredible. I've been thinking about it and looking into it ever since. That's an amazing film. If you're into animation, that's like a must see. So that definitely jumped right onto the list of my favorite animated movies. Unreal. A friend of mine said that movie feels like it just came fully formed out of the center of the earth, and that's a good way of putting it. Quit lying, spend more. Your favorite animated movie is a Goofy movie. It's definitely right up there. On some days, I would definitely say that's true. It's definitely one of the animated movies I've seen the most, and I quote it pretty often. It is a great movie. I was talking to someone recently where I was like, talking about how great of a movie that was, and they thought I was just joking. I was like, wait, have you seen it? And they're like, I don't know, not since I was a kid. I was like, dude, rewatch it. It's phenomenal. Yeah, it's weird because that is not like considered one of the mainline Disney movies. It's like not counted, I don't think, in that like 100 movie list or whatever. Like along with Aladdin and Lion King, it's sort of this like separate tier, I think. Maybe they've inducted it in, I'm not sure, but it was kind of like a side bet, right? Because it was introing the TV show, Goof Troop. Or was it the other way around? Was Goof Troop already a thing? Anyway, it was like sort of seen as like, oh, this is like the TV movie, but it's like one of the best movies they've ever done. The songs are unstoppable. It's definitely like top 5 at least Disney soundtracks, if not top 3. The Powerline songs, insane. Aaron says, my favorite is probably Castle in the Sky or Howl's Moving Castle. Boy and the Heron was super cool too. I'll have to watch that again. Castle in the Sky is just like the type of movie I feel like I could watch every day if I wanted to. Yeah, that's a good one. I don't remember that one as much as the other Ghiblis. I should give that one a rewatch. I feel like I watched that early in my Ghibli times and didn't stick as much as the other. Was like the one that really sticks with me is Nausicaa. Nausicaa would definitely be on that list for me of favorite animated movies. But I remember liking Castle in the Sky as well. Powerline songs were nuts. We were robbed of a full album from them, yeah. Nausicaa's goated. Castle in the Sky is my fave Ghibli for sure, says Dennis. So it's another vote for Castle in the Sky. Oh, we're nice. This is a nice full canvas we're developing here. I'm gonna put some Goombas over here. It's not talked about much, but I love Whisper of the Heart as like a slice of life, non-fantastical movie they did, says Carly. Yeah, I don't think I've seen that one. Was that an earlier one? Yeah, no, never saw this one. Yeah, there's a couple I haven't seen. And a couple that I'm due for a rewatch. One I've never seen, Grave of the Fireflies. Which is a very notable omission. But it just, the reputation of that movie. I don't know. It's never like, I'm never like, oh, time to, and I know it's a beautiful, incredible film, but it's kind of like, all right, time to feel really bad. Which, I don't know. I feel like I used to watch more feel bad movies. And like really like stuff like that. Or at least, I don't know. These days I'm not looking to find things that make me feel bad. For better or for worse. Of course, art is supposed to challenge us and confront us with uncomfortable things. But I don't wanna be sad. I wanna watch Mario. I wanna watch a Super Mario movie. Well, you know, you can challenge me. Just don't friggin' ruin my day. Son of the White Mare, that's a challenging film. It asks you to, you can't watch that passively. It's also freaking sick. If you want to be sad and depressed for a week, go watch it. Yeah, see, I don't know if I want that. That's the thing. It's like those movies that really like stick to your heart. Like, I love a lot of movies that are like that, like total nihilistic bummer movies. But I don't know. Sometimes you're like, when you think about how you want to spend your day, it's like, don't know if I want to go there right now. You know, it'd be great if I could go watch it in a theater and cry with a bunch of other people. I feel like that would be a more beautiful human experience. So I should keep an eye out for when it's playing in theaters. That's my secret, Cap. I'm always sad and depressed all week. And maybe that's the key. Just always be depressed, and then nothing can hurt. Very sneaky. I love those Goombas. Yeah, I really like this one. This one's fun. This stompy guy. Grave of the Fireflies watch party when, ooh. Yeah. I'd rather watch it in a dark theater with friends and strangers rather than the close quarters intimacy of someone's living room. That might be a little too much human connection and shared misery. Hey guys, want to come over and freaking cry your ass off with me? This is gorgeous. Nah, let's get raw. All weep together. All right. Crying party at my house. Just have a absolutely soul-crushing movie night. It would be a good bad time. It would be very, yeah, you're right. It would be super cathartic and beautiful. Alright, I'm gonna post our beautiful artwork to my story. To my stories. Thank you all for joining this week. We did a nice little canvas here. And that glare is super intense. I wonder if I can just turn it a little bit. Is that better? Yeah, it's better. It's better-ish. And finally, serve Dracula. Was Sean in the draw pile earlier? I'm just tagging peeps. Was it just Pat and Dennis and Fish and me? An Art Frog. Art Frog. Yeah, that Frog Mario is great. I used Surfin' Safari as the music for the post, and you won't know why until you watch the whole story. Also, if you check my stories, I posted the latest Good Morning Ottawa post from Mayor Mark Sutcliffe. He's in on it now. If he wasn't before, he is definitely in on it. Because he posted a picture of a utility box, like an electric box, whatever, on a traffic median or something, with a painting of like a weird paint, like of a tree with leaves on it, but like it looks like there's like a dead tree in front of it. I just feel like this is high level trolling at this point. And I like it. Do one last tour of this drawing before call it a day. Nice star ad there. Some cute ghosts. Go Sens go. And then the piece de resistance. Kovabunga. Beautiful. Perfect. All right. And that's it. That's 9:30. Got to get ready to go for my second last class, and then I'm done for the semester. Spencer's Yoshi is great. Mine is there. I would ask that you appreciate all Yoshis equally. They're both beautiful in their own ways. So that's the stream for the day. Thank you again, everybody, for joining in. And yeah, we'll be back on Thursday in a couple days. Just as we were on stream, I got someone else coming in to chat, so we got 3 people locked in so far. People who have submitted stuff to show and tell in the past. And yeah, we'll be talking to, I think, we'll have 6 or 7 people come in and talk about their past submissions and what projects they're working on now, and some of their favorite memories from show and tells of yore. So that'll be on Thursday at 6 p.m. and I hope to see you all there. All right, until then, have a great week. Goodbye.